Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're going to be reading some Reddit stories. I just found a really good one and I thought it would be cool to read together. If you can see my background, I love Cartoon Network. Let's go ahead and open Reddit. So this was from TwoHotTakkes. I'm gonna join it. Hey! Stop! I'm recording. Buddy! 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 Shh! Shh! Just as I'm recording. Buddy! Shh! Hey! So this story is... Hey! Buddy! I'm trying to make a video here. So this... Stop! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! Hey! Hey! Buddy! 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 Buddy, stop! Stop it! Hey! You're on camera. Hey! Hey! Are you done? Are you done? Please be done. Okay. This story is called Am I the Asshole for turning around and driving 12 hours back to Michigan instead of taking my sister to our family beach house? Boy. I, 26 female, live in Michigan with my boyfriend, 26 male. I am a school speech language pathologist. So I have summers off. Oh my gosh. Buddy! Shh! Shh. Be quiet. Thank you. So I have summers off. My boyfriend works remotely, which give us a lot of flexibility when we travel. That's good. We had driven from Michigan to North Carolina to visit my parents for about 2 weeks. Since we were driving 12 hours home afterward, we had absolutely everything with us, including over 2 weeks worth of luggage, our dog, his crate, dog food, and all of his supplies. That is a lot of stuff. I wonder if they have a big car. Originally, we were planning to drive straight back to Michigan on June 3rd. So this was 2 days ago. That's what it says up here. 2 days ago. And it's July. So this was like... That's crazy. We were planning to drive straight back to Michigan on June 30th. However, my parents own a beach house in Myrtle Beach, and my mom invited one of our longtime family friends who also lives in Michigan, has known our family our entire lives, to stay there for a few days. Okay, well that's pretty cool that you got a beach house in Myrtle Beach. I've been to Myrtle Beach a few times. Actually, a lot. My younger sister, 22 female, decided she wanted to go too, Everyone thought it would be fun if we all spent a couple days together before my boyfriend and I headed home. So my boyfriend and I changed our plans. Instead of leaving June 30th, we extended our trip until July 2nd. Okay, so that was literally the last Thursday. Yeah. Rearranged our travel plans, used additional PTO on my boyfriend's end, and planned our drive around, making the beach trip work. Wow. You took more PTO off? You gotta be careful with PTO. The plan was my boyfriend and I would drive my sister from my parents' house just north of Charlotte every single time. I go burp and then I yawn. Just north of Charlotte to Myrtle Beach. We'd all spend a couple of days there with my mom and our family friend. My sister would ride back to North Carolina with my mom afterward. My boyfriend and I would leave from Myrtle Beach and make the 14-hour drive back to Michigan. Damn, that's a lot of traveling. The day before we were supposed to leave for Myrtle Beach, my sister announced that she was spending the night at a friend's house in the Rail area, about 2 hours away from my parents' home in CLT, so Charlotte, instead of coming home. Well, how does that mean you have to take her to her friend's place? My boyfriend and I wanted to leave around 7 a.m. I'm sorry. Did I say instead of coming home? Oh well. My boyfriend and I wanted to leave around 7 a.m. so we'd get to Myrtle Beach around lunchtime and actually enjoy most of the day. My dad even texted my sister asking if she could come home earlier because he knew we already rearranged our travel plans around taking her. She refused. Uh-oh. I mean, she is younger. She didn't get home until around 9:15 the next morning. By that point, my boyfriend and I had already packed the USV. To give you an idea of how full the car was, 2 weeks worth of luggage, our dog's crate, dog food, dog supplies. Everything we'd need for the drive back to Michigan, plus my sister's things. My sister only needed clothes for 2 days at the beach, where there were already towels, toiletries, and pretty much everything else she'd need. She came outside with a full-size suitcase, a duffel bag, and a large cooler. We unloaded and reloaded the USV at least 4 different times, trying to make everything fit. Eventually we did, barely. That is a lot of stuff to travel around with. You gotta be careful. I actually volunteered to keep multiple bags at my feet so my sister wouldn't have anything on the floor in front of her. I was basically sitting cross-legged because there wasn't enough room for my legs. Damn. Everyone was cramped. Nobody was riding comfortably. Before we had even backed out of the driveway, my sister started complaining that she didn't have enough room. I mean, if it was me, I would not complain because I don't know. I try to be better about being more appreciative of everybody around me, and I try not to complain. I mean, she's 22. She is young. She immediately asked me to move my seat up. I told her I genuinely couldn't. See, my mind replaces words before I read them. There was nowhere for me to move. She rolled her eyes and started muttering things under her breath loud enough that everyone could hear she was upset. I consciously decided not to engage. I wanted us to get to the beach. I kept reminding myself that everyone was uncomfortable and that it was only about a 4-hour drive. A minute later, she asked for my phone charger. It was actively plugged into my phone, but I simply unplugged it and handed it over to her because I didn't want to start an argument. Then she started repeatedly pushing her knees into the back of my seat. I ignored it. Man, your sister's being really nice, and she's not even like going off on you for being kind of rude. She kept doing it. I still didn't react. A few minutes later, she escalated again by stretching both of her legs between the front seats so that her feet were hanging between my boyfriend's and my heads while he was driving. That was where I finally said something. I asked her if she could please move her feet. She said no. Wow, okay. I asked again. I acknowledged that everyone was uncomfortable. I apologized that I couldn't create any more room because there simply wasn't any. I reminded her that my boyfriend and I had completely changed our travel plans, extended our stay, and planned our drive around, taking her to Myrtle Beach because she wanted to go. I told her everyone was making sacrifices to make the trip happen. She still refused to move her feet. At that point, I finally said something along the lines of, if this is what the next 4 hours are going to be like, we're turning around. You can drive yourself, and we will just drive back to Michigan now. Without hesitating, she replied, "Great, do it." Wow, she sounds kind of immature for... I mean, she's only 22. I mean, people take a while to grow up. So... But I wasn't really like that, 22. At least I don't think so. But if she's like the youngest, maybe she was a little spoiled. I don't know. I don't know how they grew up and stuff. So we were only a couple of miles from getting into the interstate. My boyfriend turned the car around. On the drive back, my sister called my mom. She sounded completely calm and said something like, "Hi, Mommy. I think Sarah and Mike are going to drive back to Michigan, but I'm still coming." How? My mom asked what happened. My sister handed me the phone. Poor sister. I explained everything while crying because by that point, this no longer felt like it was about a car ride. While I was trying to explain, my sister was yelling over me from the back of the seat. By the time we got back to my parents' house, we were both yelling. She got out of the car, started unloading her things while I was still talking to my mom. She started screaming at me to give her phone back. I locked the doors because she was so angry. She started banging on my windows and yelling. Wow. Next time she asks us to come, I would just say no. That's what I would do. When she finally walked away for a second, I set her phone on the ground beside the car. She came back, punched my car door, leaving a nice dent, got in her own car, and drove back toward Myrtle Beach by herself. Why didn't she just... What? Why didn't she just drive? Why did she had to do all of that? All that was unnecessary. My mom's response was essentially that my sister and I need to figure figure it out ourselves and that I should be the bigger person because I'm the older sister. No. Waiting for activation. Can you guys still see me? I want to make sure. Hang on, let me check. Okay. Key. Okay, yes, you are older, but that doesn't mean you have to, like, let your sister walk all over you. I mean, she should be respecting you. I mean, the respect goes both ways. So, I don't know what I would do. I would just not talk to her until she can apologize. Okay. So, my boyfriend and I left and began the 12-hour drive back to Michigan. Later that day, I noticed my sister's location was at a gas station off the highway and hadn't moved for hours. I hope she's okay. So I called my dad to figure out what was going on. He told me that she had gotten a flat tire and ended up stranded, waiting several hours for roadside assistance. I mean, she should have just been cooperative with her sister, and this wouldn't have happened. My dad later told me that he was on his way to pick her up, and my parents were trying to figure out how to get her to Myrtle Beach still. Are you serious? I wouldn't even go to the beach. I would just go home at that point. That's what I would do. Meanwhile, my boyfriend and I completed the entire drive back to Michigan. Neither of my parents called or texted to ask if we'd gotten home safely, or to check in on us after everything that had happened. The reason this affected me so deeply is because, to me, it wasn't really about the cramped car. Everyone was uncomfortable. It wasn't really about the beach. That makes sense. I would have loved to go, but I'm sorry. It was like I felt like I spent the entire beginning of the trip trying to keep the peace, repacking the car multiple times, giving up my own legroom, handing over my phone charger, ignoring the comments under her breath, ignoring my seat being kicked, apologizing that I couldn't physically move, and repeatedly trying to acknowledge that everyone was uncomfortable. Also tried to accommodate my little sister who I was already bending over backwards for. I feel so disrespected, and my parents' reaction makes me feel like I don't even deserve the basic respect. The moment I finally set a boundary, the entire trip ended. So, am I the asshole for turning the car around instead of trying to endure 4 hours of conflict? No, you are not. That's what I say. Let's read the comments. Someone said, "Your parents suck. They're the reason your sister sucks too. Repeat all the things you already did to be the bigger person when your sister deserves none of your grace. And ask your parents whether they expect to keep taking care of this grown toddler for the rest of her life. Good thing you've got 12 hours between you." I mean, yeah. I don't know. This person said, "Every time I hear the phrase, be the bigger person, little alarm bells go off in my head. So often, it's someone outside the situation that's not really invested saying it. Easy to say it when it's not their problem." She didn't like that Uno reverse. Let's see if we can do, like, am I overreacting? Oh, let's do wedding drama. Let's see. So yeah, if that was my little sister, I would have went home, I would have kicked her out, not out of the car, in the middle of the road. What's this one? This one was, oh, another two hot takes. Nice. This one's not super long. Alright, this one's called Mother-in-Law Created Drama on My Wedding Day. You guys, can you please stop barking? I love you, but stop barking. 28 female, got married to my husband, 30 male, 2 weeks ago. So this was 3 hours ago. My mother-in-law, 60 female, created a lot of drama around the wedding day. I'm not sure if I should talk with her about it. I probably should have highlighted all that. A couple months before the wedding, I decided I wanted a very minimalist look and didn't want the stress of bringing a bunch of things to the venue. What are you doing? I'm sorry, my dog came around my chair. I didn't want the stress of bringing a bunch of things to the venue. I placed an order for Costco flowers to make flower arrangements for each table. She repeatedly asked me about the flowers over several weeks and insisted that the flowers would come separately, not in a prearranged banquets. And told me that she would not be helping with the flowers on the wedding day. She also talked with a family member and got some centerpiece items without asking me first. From them that were, my brain is not wanting to read this. From them that were incredibly ugly, the centerpiece items were from the dollar store. She was very offended and cried when I told her that the centerpiece items were not my style, and I didn't want to feel stressed out on the day of the wedding by taking that many items to the venue. I don't like that she cried. I mean, I don't like that she cried. Right before our welcome dinner, she pulled my husband aside and had a conversation with him about a mother-son dance. For background info, she talked about surprising us with a mother-son dance with my brother-in-law, and told him that she made a country song using AI. My brother-in-law gave us a heads up and showed us about 30 seconds of the song, and my husband did not like it. My husband is also very against AI. She told her that he did not want to do the mother-son dance because of the AI song. And because... Hang on. Buddy! He told her that he didn't want to do the mother-son dance because of the AI song, and because I was not going to do a father dance song. I am not close with my dad, and I felt uncomfortable with it. Did you tell her that? On the wedding day, I invited her to come to the Airbnb that I got ready at with my family. Buddy. Buddy, stop. Sorry, guys, my dog. I make videos in my living room, so you're gonna hear my dogs a lot. I invited her to come to the Airbnb that I got ready at with my family and friends. She arrived to the Airbnb 30 minutes before I told her to come over. I was showering and blow drying my hair and wanted some time to myself, so I was annoyed that she came early. Well, maybe she just wanted to be prepared, but I guess I understand. I don't know. She asked me about the mother-son dance again, and I explained that we only planned on doing the first dance, but I didn't care if she did the mother-son dance. I was just so over it by that point. She played the AI song, and I told her that she could not use that song and asked if there were any other meaningful songs she could use. She played the song Whistle by Flo Rida, and I was shocked by how inappropriate and strange it would be to use that song for a mother-son dance. Yeah, that is that's weird. I asked her to choose literally any other song besides Whistle and the AI song. She started to cry and said, "Never mind." I continued to get things ready for the wedding, and she asked me if I was sure I wanted to get married several times. Everyone in the room was so uncomfortable. That's not right. Maybe you should just tell her to leave. Like, if you're gonna be a problem the entire time, maybe you shouldn't be here. Before I arrived to the wedding, she decided to decorate our arch without telling me. Another surprise. She wrapped the arch in white fabric, twinkly lights, and greenery, which is not really my style. I wasn't super happy about it, but was willing to let it go. At the wedding, she sat at her table with her brothers and sisters and barely talked to anyone. We had a short wedding from 5 to 9, and she left around 7:30 p.m. Before she left, she asked my husband to take the decorations off the arch. Like, there wasn't one other person she could have asked to help. When they left around 7:30 p.m., they never said bye to us. Would it be helpful to have a conversation about these things? I'm disappointed about all the drama and still want to have a good relationship with my in-laws. But I'm not sure how to have this conversation without coming off as confrontational. Well, maybe you could try saying it in a nice way, but you still need to get what you're feeling off your chest. You need to tell her that the whole wedding thing was very uncomfortable, and she made it harder and more stressful for you. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know my camera wasn't playing. Let's read the comments. I think that your husband needs to step up and set clear boundaries. This should not be on you to mediate. Based on her behavior, she doesn't seem like someone who would take feedback. I wouldn't focus on changing her. She can act however she wants, but boundaries are what determines how much her behavior can affect you all. I'm sorry that this all happened to you. It's very reasonable to be upset, and this was really nice of you to choose your battles and let some things go. It's better to set these boundaries sooner rather than later. It will only get worse once you all begin to hit other major life milestones, and there's already a precedent of her being allowed to act like this. The OP says, "Thank you for validating. She was a boy mom, so I think she used her husband and sons just doing anything she wants and not sharing their opinions." Yeah. Someone also said, "My mother-in-law took every flower off the arch used in my wedding and handed them out to people at their reception. I was not only mortified, but also the florist was planning to use the arch for a wedding the following day. I knew this would mess up the poor florist's day, too. It was awful. She also knew about our secret carrot cake layer of our cake that the groom and I wanted for ourselves, and she asked for it for her table, and the server formal sit down brought the entire layer of it to her table, and we didn't get any of it. OP said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." Someone else said, "If all she does is cry when you answer her, what's the point? Seems like she likes to use crocodile tears as a way to manipulate the situation, so you will feel sorry for her and do what she wants you to do." That's about control, and also who does this stuff to a bride at the last minute on her wedding day. I would just go over to your in-laws, sit down with them, obviously with your husband. Maybe talk to your husband first about this, and then go to your in-laws and have a sit down and just tell them how you're feeling, and then maybe this will be better. Maybe, at least that's, I don't know if I would do that, but that's from what I've learned in therapy, that you need to communicate how you're feeling, otherwise it's just gonna boil and get worse for you, and it causes stress when you don't communicate. So let's go to another two hot takes. Oh, what's this one? We'll do this one and maybe one more if I feel like it. So this one is called "Am I the Asshole for becoming a spy for my aunt on her in-laws?" I know I should probably have these popped up already, but excuse me, I don't know how to do any of that, so you guys are just gonna have to follow along with me. I, 23 female, feel like an asshole for causing a problem between my uncle and his wife. For context, ooh, we like context. There is a war in my country, and my 4 aunts and their dad were living with their youngest brother, we'll call him Sal, 50 male, and his wife Aaliyah, and 4 kids. Even though they have another 3 brothers, the youngest is the one who always carries their responsibility and financial needs. Excuse me. The financial needs on his shoulders. For the past week, 3 aunts came. These aunts came to stay for a short period at their other brother's house while Sal tries to find a different rental. This one's short. Did not realize that. So I happened to hear them talking about Sal and his wife in a negative manner, saying that he left them with their other brother to get rid of them, and that he's stalling on purpose. Interesting. Yeah, we're gonna have to read another one because this one's short. As soon as I heard that, I went to my uncle's wife, Aaliyah, and told her everything, word for word, since I am very close with her and usually tell her everything. Of course, it wasn't a surprise for her because they always had issues and she never really liked them. The problem, though, is that she went right back to my uncle, Sal, and told him everything his sisters said, and told him that I reported this to her. She's decided that when they do find a new apartment, she will not welcome these 2 aunts in her house because they're ungrateful and keep bad-mouthing her, although she and her husband pretty much lay for everything. Now to what make me feel like I made a mistake. My uncle called me and told me I shouldn't report everything I hear in detail back to Aunt Aaliyah and said I caused problems for him at home and that there's no way he'd be able to have them come with him to the new apartment now since his wife doesn't want them after hearing what they said. Yep, so now I feel like crap and I don't know how to fix it. Am I the asshole? Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what the comments say. Is this a backup story? This is backup of the post's body. There's no comments. Okay, I guess we'll just read this. Backup of the post's body. I, female 23, feel like a butthole for causing a problem between my uncle and his wife. I think I already... Yeah, never mind. I already read this. So there's no comments. Well, there's no comments. We don't know who... I mean, this was uploaded. Okay, well, we don't have any comments. Might as well read another one. I wish we had a story that had updates. It's another long one. Is there an update to this? Okay. I guess we can read this one and then be done. Or I might keep going. Might do like another wedding one. Am I the asshole for not wanting to go to Disney with the fam? Advice needed. So that's like, this is highlighted so people know what to look for. Hi Morgan and the THT crew. I don't know what that means. I, 36 female, don't know how to tell my sister-in-law, 39 female, that I don't want to go to Disney with them. And I think it might be the beginning of the end of one of the most important relationships in my life. For privacy, we'll call my sister-in-law Kenzie. Ironically, when my brother first started dating her, I couldn't stand her. I was 18, she was around 21, and in my mind, she was stealing my big brother. She knows this, and we laughed about it over the years. She probably should have been highlighting for you. No. Highlighting for you guys. Let's do this. The funny thing is, we became incredibly close. We traveled around Europe together. We used to go out all the time, and I was her maid of honor. I even planned and threw her a surprise 30th birthday party with all of her closest friends. She wasn't just my brother's wife anymore. She became my sister. Aww. That's nice to get close with your sister-in-law. Years later, my husband and I moved across the country. We lived there for 8 years, built our careers, got married, and had our son. During those years, my brother constantly told us to move back because he wanted our kids to grow up together. They have 3 kids. Why did you move across country? Like, interesting. While we were living away, my mom became very sick. I flew home to spend her final days with her before she passed away. Oh, I'm so sorry. Eventually, my husband and I decided to move back because my dad needed family nearby too. So we are living with him, that way I can look after him. I truly thought moving home would mean we'd all be closer than ever. It's a long one. Instead, this last year has been one of the hardest years of my life when it comes to family. Not to mention my mom was the glue to my family, and ever since she left, nothing has been the same. And I do feel a lot of pressure on me for being my mom's daughter. Heck, even my aunt sends me voice notes weekly of 10 plus minutes venting because she used to vent to my mom. Anyways, let's continue. The first major crack happened during a Disney trip with both families. Keep in mind, I told her they were not obligated to go because my sister-in-law is a Disney mom and goes every chance they get, so they were happy to go with us, especially the kids. Throughout the day, there were multiple arguments about being fair between the kids. My son had a birthday gift cards from his grandma and another relative. He used his own birthday money to buy himself a toy. Kenzie felt that if one child got something, all the children should get something. Well, you don't want them to learn that way, because every time someone would have a birthday, they would feel like I need something. So if you I don't know. I don't have children, so I don't know. Later, 2 of the kids got free sticker books on a ride while her daughters weren't there. They cried, and she was upset that someone hadn't asked for enough for everyone. That one I actually understood, and I told my husband he should have asked for more stickers. Yes, it was my husband who was with the 2 boys. Lol. It would have been easy to ask for extras. But the gift card situation felt completely different to me. It wasn't my money. It was birthday money that had been given to my son. I can't say certain words. I'm sorry. I'm not going to hurt myself trying to pronounce a word. Later that day, my son wanted to use the rest of his birthday money to buy himself a Remy plush. My mother-in-law offered to buy matching Emil plushies for Kenzie's kids because Kenzie had already told us they each already owned a Remy, and I know this for a fact since I've seen them in their house. When we gave them the Emil plushies, she became upset because she didn't think we should have spent money on her children. There were disagreements throughout the trip about restaurants, gifts, who paid for meals, and fairness between the kids. By the end of the day, I was texting my best friend saying I felt like I was living in a parallel universe because every few hours there seemed to be another conflict. A few weeks later, she invited us to my nephew's kindergarten graduation. The problem was that it was at the exact same time as my son's last day of school. It was his first year ever in school, and his classroom was having an end-of-year celebration, and many of his classmates were changing schools. I really wanted him to experience his own last day with his friends. When I hesitated, she told me that her kids had missed a day of school to come to my son's birthday in Orlando. So she thought my son could miss his last day of school for his cousin's graduation. Well, that's going to be really hard to do, because if your kids go in at the same time, you're just going to have to do separate graduations at this point, because you obviously can't be at the same place at the same time when someone else has graduation and they have like, so you're gonna have to like be more understanding when it comes to your sister-in-law's kids. You know, she can't always be where you are, you know. That really hurt because these situations didn't feel comparable to me. And no, my kid did not miss his last day. My husband took my kid to school, and I and I, the godmother, went with my dad to his graduation. I'm so confused by that sentence. We're gonna move on. Words did not come out of my mouth. My son had already been attending the camp. Oh, I missed a word. I'm sorry. Then came the basketball camp incident. Oh boy. I need to get a drink, you guys. I'll be right back. Let me get a drink. You guys calm down. I'm thirsty. I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Yeah. Excuse me. Let's try it. Interesting stuff I thought I wouldn't like, I like. Alright. My son had already been attending the camp for about 3 weeks. Oh wow, I sound a lot better. I guess I just needed a drink. After the first week of camp, I had explained everything to my brother. I told him exactly how the camp worked, that I stayed there all day working from the dugout, and that I had even bought a mobile hotspot so I could work remotely while keeping an eye on my son. I encouraged him to sign his son up too because I thought he'd love it. I mean, who wouldn't like camp? I've never been to camp. The day camp started for my nephew, Kenzie texted me the day before concerned about the heat and water breaks. I admit my answer was super dry. I told her if you're not comfortable with the heat, then don't take him. And I told her what they did, the training, the snacks, the water breaks, the lunch, and that they had a splash day twice a week. Basically answered every question she asked. Then she called me the day of, while my brother and nephew were already at the field. She asked me, "Will you look after Chase?" And I answered, "Sure." To me, that wasn't dismissive. Of course I was going to look after him. He's my godson. Okay, that makes sense. You are the godmother. Okay. I've known him since the day he was born. Well, sure. Honestly, I've been keeping an eye on all the kids there because that's just who I am. Instead, she immediately raised her voice and told me I was being incredibly insensitive as a mother. How is she being sensitive? She said she would look after him, so I don't. She told me that when I first left my son with her, I had explained everything about his day and what he ate, and she expected the same kind of assurance from me. Okay. I'm really confused here. She tried explaining that this wasn't the same situation. That was the first time I was leaving my son at her house. This camp had already been running for weeks. My brother already knew how it worked because I explained it all to him beforehand. If he didn't pass that information along, I didn't feel like that was my responsibility. I mean, I feel like you could have explained it to both of them. That way she was also informed. I don't know. I also wanted to tell her about a recent time when my brother took my son somewhere. The only thing he told me was, dress him nice. I had no idea where they were going. I assumed a party, but I trusted him because he was my brother. I didn't need every detail because I trusted the adult who was with my child. Sometimes people are more protective of than others of their child, so doesn't mean you're a bad mom. But I never got the chance to explain. Every time I tried to speak, she talked over me. Eventually I said, "You're not letting me talk." She answered, "Yes, because I'm mad." At that point, I said, "Then let's talk when you're more calmed down because you're not listening to me," and we hung up. She later texted me to read the text. Nothing to talk about anymore. Chase is already here. What bothered me was how insensitive your response was as a mother. I always support your concerns with your son. I was looking for information and support, and your response was disappointing. This is a long one, guys. Here's where I'm struggling. I fully admit my text messages could have been warmer. Reading them back, I probably would have worded them differently, but I also feel like she wasn't just looking for information. She was looking for me to take responsibility for making her feel okay about sending her son to camp. I don't think that's something I could ever realistically do. Now, we're supposed to go back to Disney for my niece's birthday. I genuinely want to celebrate my niece. The problem is that Kenzie's bringing her close group of friends. Objectively, I don't think anyone is going to initially exclude me, but after everything that's happened this past year, I already know I'll spend the whole weekend feeling like I don't belong. And that's what hurts the most. I don't want to lose this relationship. I love my brother. I love my nieces and nephew. I love Kenzie. I moved back after 8 years because I believed our families would finally get to do life together. Instead, I feel like every disagreement chips away a little more at a relationship that once meant so much to me. So my question isn't really who's right or wrong. How do you set healthy boundaries with someone you genuinely love without making them feel rejected? And how do you know when emotional exhaustion starts sounding like indifference to people you care about? And should I even go to Disney? Thank you all. Much love. So there's no update. I don't think so. So let's read the comments. She sounds utterly exhausting to deal with. No way on earth I'd go back with her. Love you, but our parenting styles are different. Are too different. Have fun. Someone said OP is also taking care of dad and expected to fill mom's shoes. Now sister-in-law is putting all of her expectations on top of that. OP replied, "I don't really mind taking care of my dad. I feel like that's my duty. I love him to death. He's like my second child, literally acts like one. But I do feel like my brother should step up a bit more as well. I know he took care of my mom the most, but he is our father. But sister-in-law expectations and not taking into consideration our opinions or beliefs is insane, and the trying to make us feel bad for not attending certain things really hurt my feelings. We do have different beliefs, so I do feel since she is a lawyer, she thinks she's right every time, and everything with her needs to be political correct." So everybody's different. Everybody has different opinions and rights and wrongs. No, there's no such thing as right or wrong, you know, when it comes to opinions and stuff like that, because everybody has different opinions and everybody has different lifestyles and ways of doing stuff, especially when it comes to kids. So maybe try setting a boundary with her and just try, what can I say here? If it was me, I would try to be nice about it and be like, look, I really feel like our relationship isn't going well because there are different parenting styles and stuff, and I'm afraid it's going to affect our relationship. So I would just be honest with her. That's what I would do. Someone says, you may just need to tackle this head on. Hey, I think we should talk. I feel like since husband and I moved home, things between you and me have been tense, and I can't figure out why. And frankly, I hate it. I love you to pieces, and I've been so excited to see you more and spend more time with you. And I really don't want us to keep getting into conflicts. Let's set aside a couple hours for us, no kids, to work this out. That's good advice. I definitely would set her down and just figure out what's going on. Maybe she's got stuff she's not saying, you know, and maybe she's stressed out. You know, raising kids is a stressful job. I don't have children, so I would never understand that until I have kids of my own. I would love to understand, but I can't understand until I'm literally in their shoes. So I guess that's it for this video, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.